Ghost, whom the Father will send in my name. He shall teach you all things, and bring all things to your remembrance, whosoever I have said unto thee. Not thee. And then 27, peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Let not your heart be troubled, key word, neither let it be afraid.
So we start taking this thing into context. We start looking at this thing. Did you notice the last words? Did you notice the problem with this is that we want to rest within peace, knowing these things, but yet where is the action on our part? Where's the action? Do not let. It does not say trusting God to deal with this thing. It says do not let your hearts be troubled. That is a conscious choice, Kai, that you make. That is a decision that you make. Do you realize that's the whole thing? We want to throw it all on God and expect God to bail us. But the problem is that tells me that during these troubles and during these trials, we've got to do what?
Trust.
Not beyond trust, but we've got to act upon it. We've got to act upon it. So in other words, like I was telling Lance, when he was all beat up, there's all these things, when I'm going through all these things, when I want to look at myself and say all these things about me, when you're looking at yourself and say all these things, what have you really done? The thing is that now we're going to understand peace. All right. Now we're going to get into this thing and we're going to close it out. So, when we understand peace, peace is a temporary pact. It is a ceasefire. They say that the peace in Israel, there is peace. What do you always show these Middle Eastern people when they're having peace? What do?
Killing each other.
No, they always have a handshake. You see them on TV, besides killing. And why are they killing you? Because the thing is, they'll have peace for a while, won't they? For a minute or two, won't they? But all of a sudden it goes right back to it. See, peace is temporary. But also, you'll see them like you've seen different politicians that leads these Middle Eastern people. And you always see them doing something. You'll see them standing there, won't you? And what will they be doing? Right. Do you realize this is not a Middle Eastern custom?
No, they don't say it.
They don't shake hands. That means that symbol is meaningless to them. It means nothing. When you see them exchanging shoes and kissing each other on the cheek, when you see that happening, beware. Because the Bible in Revelation talks about this. When you see peace in Israel, when you see this, they've exchanged shoes and they've kissed each other on the cheek, from that is when it will arise. Because it's not designed to have peace there.
False peace.
It's a false peace. Because the thing is that when you see that, that's where the whole Antichrist and all this is. So my pastor, I remember sitting in that room as a boy, and I heard that. And I understood it for the first time. He said, always watch for the kiss and the exchanging shoes. He said, because then you know the time of the Lord is at hand. Because there will never be peace there. There will be a false peace. But if we look at the word peace, peace looks like this. It is called, the Israel is shalom. That's peace. Peace is temporary. It's a handshake. Shalom is a permanent agreement. Peace can be negative, like the calm in a storm, the absence of commotion. Shalom is positive. It is the presence of serenity. Now, if we start looking at this word, we're going to start understanding something. The first letter is shin. Notice it kind of looks like teeth. It is something to break down, to grind, to destroy. You take a hamburger, you bite into it, your teeth chews it apart. It breaks it down. Lamed, it means a shepherd's staff or authority. Vav. Vav is a hook or an iron nail that is meant to bind two things together. Mem. There are two mems, an open mem and a closed mem. This is a closed mem. It means waters, but it also represents chaos and confusion. The problem with this is that within everything is a hidden meaning. Some of the hidden meanings has already been displayed. You've already seen it. But the word shalom means when you have destroyed, that peace can only exist when you have destroyed the authority that binds together chaos and confusion. That's what shalom means. That you have destroyed the authority of the one who is basically the author of chaos and confusion. What does that mean? So in other words, when you are sitting there, and what have I always told you? That stress means what? No, stress means that you think that God's not in control. All right? Think about this thing. When you're stressing, you're saying that what? God ain't got it. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that first part. Now remember, I tell Lance, he'll say something. Now, I have my distractor, so we'll have this thing. So like Lance will say something to me. He said all day for the past 3 days, no. I'm like, what?
He does that.
No, so the thing is that I told him ever since, and Amber will tell you, ever since I had this ear infection.
I turned around and talked to him yesterday in the store. He
Yeah.
said, I can't hear you.
I just can't hear no more. So,
Select.
if I have to, so I have to stop and I have to say, what now? Please, it's not that I don't, or, so, again, as you said, so stress is what? Saying God can't handle.
That's right.
When you start taking away, now do you understand, have you ever heard the word manifesting? What does the word manifesting mean?
It's like you project the image in your mind and you go towards, you do things to get to that goal.
Yes. What you got?
So when you speak something into existence, or you, not necessarily just speaking, it just be actions, but when you believe in something and you bring it to life, animate it. So
Exactly. So the thing is that what authority you create in your mind. When you create this thing, you've created this stress, this anxiety, you've created this worry. You've got to understand, you've got to destroy the author of the chaos and confusion. He has bound together chaos and confusion. He's bound all these things together. You have to destroy this thing. But how do you destroy this thing? How do you destroy chaos and confusion in your life? How do you know who controls this thing? How do you know peace? How do you know it? Well, that sucks. Somebody go, I have my last scripture. Huh?
1 John 3:8.
Yeah, somebody go with 1 John 3:8. I had never caught this. First goes 1 John 3:8.
He that committeth sin is of the devil, for the devil sinneth from the beginning. For this purpose the Son of God was manifested, that he might destroy the works of the devil.
So, shalom is a hint towards the coming of the Messiah.
There you go.
Because this represents the fire. Shin also represents the fire that breaks down the authority that has bound us to chaos and confusion. And it says that for this, that he was manifested, that he was made known, that he was created. See, our Messiah was created for this exact purpose. The problem is with faith, it's like with any symbol. You can take any symbol in the world and you can manifest some authority to it. I remember my mother had a favorite bird that she loved. It wasn't one favorite, wasn't just one bird, it was another bird. And all of a sudden, I remember my niece had this picture of a bird on her thing, on her leg. I said, so what is that bird? Oh, that was Grandma's favorite bird. And I'm like, was what? But she thought it was Grandma's favorite bird. I didn't try to destroy this image. I didn't say, well, that was stupid. Mama didn't like that. But I don't care if that image of a robin made her see Grandma, and that Grandma believed in this robin, that this was the first bird of the spring, that this represents rebirth and all these things. Guess what? Okay, I'm good with it. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I don't get hung up on that detail because I am at peace with this thing. But not only am I at peace, I'm in shalom. I have entered into this thing though, where just like AJ represented shalom, contentment, knowing that God's got this. That's what shalom is. Knowing God has this and walking in it. And when the enemy comes to you, because you got to remember, you are all battle mages. It is your job to have a positive outlook and to know that your end is promised and it's guaranteed. And it says, for this reason that Christ was manifested, that he was created, that he was made known, that he would destroy the works of the evil one. He says that he was created, that he would destroy the bonds of sin and death. He was made the master of it. So the thing is that he is the representation of shalom. The Messiah is the representation of shalom. I don't care whether you call him Jesus or Yeshua, or I don't care what you call him. It's like my daughter. She says, who's Yeehaw?
Yeehaw.
She's like, what? She said, who's Yeehaw? And so Emerson's like, what are you talking about? Well, the boy who got killed, she said, well, he's in the hands of Yeehaw right now. Well,
No,
Yeehaw.
he's with you.
But all she read was Yeehaw. Well, some people call him Yehu. I don't care. It's your intention behind it. Oftentimes, I believe in the name Yeshua. All right? Because I was reading today, it's talking about his name. His name, he was manifested. His name. But the other side of it is oftentimes I'll say Jesus. Why do I say that? Because you may want to represent him. And the thing is the Bible talks about, don't get hung up on this, that. I don't care. I don't care. If you call him Father, okay. He knows what you're saying. Just like AJ and I was talking about. AJ, what is your real name?
Arthur Dennis, one of the four.
What's his name? What do you call him?
What do you call him? Dad. Okay. Dad.
Call him Dad, right? You don't call him by his name. But if you said Dad in the room, if you was back there, if you said Dad, your dad would hear you, wouldn't he? Even though you did not say, and he could hear all these other kids talking, but when he heard your voice, what would he do?
Answer.
He would answer. He didn't have to call him by his legal name. Because here's the downside of being legal. When you want to get legal, understand, when you try to live by the law, you have to live by all of the law.
Not some of it.
And it's impossible that we can live by all of the law. But we have to understand something. Is your peace guaranteed? Because if we start looking at this thing, we start understanding that we have bound, the fires have bound us through the shepherd's staff, and he was crucified by the iron nails, and we have become part of the living water.
Amen.
He's hinted at all in this thing, shalom. The Messiah is all in this thing because he's called the shepherd's staff. He's called the shepherd. There's the iron nail that is bound two things together. It's like Easter. You can get all hung up on Easter. But if I was looking, I think about this weekend, it's like, how do you bind all these things together? We'll talk about this thing in detail. But the essence is the rabbit is an unclean idol. The egg is a promise of a rebirth. So the thing is that I don't really care because somebody a long time ago took a symbol. But if you want to be real about a symbol, this was not the cross he was hung on. Exactly. That is not the cross, because it said he was hung from a tree. So the thing is that you don't get hung up with symbols. We can talk symbols, but the thing is that what I do is I am more looking for, there's a song, and I was telling AJ about it this morning.